by the presence of Sir Admiral. The Chamberlain of the Court, one can only hope the stylist does something about his hair. Greet the Captain of the Hour, Anson Mount.
It was a lovely introduction, Your Grace.
Why, thank you, sir. My C in English is finally paying off. So, welcome back. Anson, Ethan, we were on this very stage, I believe, 3 years ago, talking about how those short treks were kind of cool, and maybe we should make a show out of them or something. How'd that work out?
Yeah, we hope they make a show.
Yeah. I think it's a pretty good spin-off of a spin-off of a spin-off of a... Anyway, it goes back a while. Well, welcome back, Jess. First Dragon Con.
Thank you. Yes.
How you doing?
I'm having an absolute ball. I think the DragCon is so special, and I would be here if I wasn't working for sure. Just open my eyes to a whole world of celebration and acceptance, and what I notice the most is that people are having a really good time letting their hair down, but it feels safe all the time. You always feel safe, and I think that's a testament to how you guys look after each other, you know? There's a lot of love.
Yeah, the volunteers are a really big part of that, making it run, because it's fan love goes all the way through the organization. So I'm glad that you were seeing that love here on the stage and actually out in the crowds. Anson, last time we talked, you were about season 2 into The Well. You and I were talking backstage about how you're getting into like looking at movies now, and you're reviewing the Bollywood sensation RRR. Slightly different genre than science fiction in the United States, isn't it?
Oh, not so much, not so much. Yeah, so if you haven't checked out my podcast, what are you thinking? Come on, here we go. Yeah, no, I have a podcast called The Well, and it's about creative energy, you know, finding your juice, but also we do a segment called The Drop, where we just sort of talk about what we've been witnessing in pop culture and books and movies, and my partner just published yesterday that we dedicated an entire episode to the majesty known as Earth. How many people have seen RR?
Ah, nice.
You're with it, guys.
It's a small number.
You're with it. It's on Netflix, and it is the most expensive Bollywood movie ever made. And you can see every penny. Yeah.
Speaking of The Drop, for my guests, in case we have a mic drop moment because these are expensive, a friend of mine, I complained about the fact that mic drops are damaging audio equipment, and she made me a plushy Shure microphone. Choice. She's a costumer here at DragCon. And so if we had a mic drop moment, feel free to take this so that we can demonstrate the power of not damaging the volunteers' audio equipment. Do we have questions lined up? Where did my mic runner go? All right, so locate our bold captain. And if you are in disability services, we do have some accommodations for questions. Some of you may have submitted them earlier on, and there may be some opportunities to move the mic around if needed, but it looks like this intrepid hero is moving to the back. Why don't we take our first audible question, then we'll read some of the ones submitted earlier.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, it's the mic player.
So my question is, how did you feel when you learned about what roles you got?
How did you feel about the roles that you got when you learned that the show was being made?
That's a great question. Thank you. Who wants to start?
It was. I didn't realize what the character I was auditioning for. It was the made-up name, and then so when they called me and said we got the part, and it's for Captain Pike. I was overjoyed and then scared to death.
Yeah, I was reading for Tom the Andorian. I can't say the code name still because I think they still use it. But we knew it was Star Trek, and I found out right before my final audition, and when I found out, I was around the corner from my apartment, and I sat down and I cried, because I was so excited and so overwhelmed and so terrified. And it was an amazing day and moment. I'll never forget it. I got a text message that said, "Welcome aboard, Mr. Spock," and that was how I lost the text message. It's gone forever.
Disgraceful. I have a similar story. All of my auditions were done remotely. I was in Australia, and I didn't meet anyone in person until I was on set, basically. But I was auditioning for the role of Miller, who was a sassy sick bay attendee. And the whole audition process was so mysterious and locked down. You know, there was like, you can download these scenes for 24 hours only, and then they'll say self-detonate. And if you print them, we'll know, and they'll self-detonate. And if you look at them the wrong way, they'll self-detonate. But I didn't learn that I was going to play Chaplin until I got the contract, and it had a different name on the top. I was like, hang on a second, they sent me the wrong contract? And then I, kind of did my research, and then, you know, kind of worked out who I was going to be playing. It was just overwhelming, exciting, a whole new world, a strange one.
Hey, congratulations.
Hey, thanks so much. You too.
And I just want to note, the person who asked the question, you're a tiny demigorgon, correct? Yes, I can see the nodding of the weird mouth on the front. That is awesome that even under the stage lights I can make that out from this distance. That's a great cosplay.
Yeah, I saw you in the Hall of Fame the other day, and I was very impressed.
All right, thank you. All right, did we get any pre-submitted questions to read? Yeah, let's go ahead and take the first one of those.
All right, from Laura out in the Trek universe. Since you filmed in Toronto, how did you survive your first Canadian winter?
How did you survive the first Canadian winter since you filmed in Toronto?
My birthday is March 2nd, which is spring. Right?
Not Toronto.
Not Toronto. It was negative 20, and I was sitting outside and I was like,
Oh,
"You gotta be kidding me. That's crazy." So we did it. I'm cold-blooded. I'm family from Finland, so I'm kind of okay with the cold.
Well, I'm from Australia, so it was a brutal assault. It was actually kind of a novelty to me, actually. The snow was new, so I was one of those, you know, annoying tourists who was like, "Oh, this is so cute! Oh my god, a squirrel! Oh my god!" Like, I was like, "Oh, there's garbage under this pile of snow. That's so cute!" Yeah, I mean, the first one was a novelty. The second winter was longer, more brutal. Yeah, so the first one was fun for me.
Well, I live in Connecticut, so it was less snow for me.
And you went to Calgary.
Yes, and I worked, but we would shoot from spring through summer. Thank God. All the way
Summer, so that's what, like 3 weeks up there? Or?
I did have to go in for a winter shoot one time for the beginning of season 3, and it was astounding. Like, I mean, it was feet and feet of snow.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy.
Well, I mean, that saves a lot of money in production because the ice planet you used was probably just right outside, right? You just went outside the studio. So much cheaper. All right, where's our next question coming from?
Yes, this is for Mr. Peck. In the episode where you have a dream sequence where your Vulcan and human selves fight each other, what was the preparation for that like? I imagine makeup was extra long and you had to act 3 different ways. How long did that take to do? What was it like?
Now you're speaking specifically of the like hyper Vulcan Spock versus human Spock?
Yes.
Yeah, so that was actually one of the last things that I filmed for that season. And I had learned the choreography like 3 or 4 days beforehand. We shot it all in one day. There were 2 stunt doubles. One dressed as human Spock, one dressed as hyper Vulcan Spock. And I did the first half of the day as human Spock. And then they turned me over at lunch, that's the term we use to say you changed costume and makeup, into Vulcan Spock. and did the other side of the combat and the performances. So it was an amazing day, and we actually filmed it all in the AR wall, which is this amazing space that is floor-to-ceiling computer screens, and they build worlds that we get to play in and act in. And it was a very dusty day, I remember, because there was a bunch of Vulcan dirt everywhere. But it was an amazing day to end on. Yeah.
All right, where's our next question?
Hi everybody, my name's Matt. First off, thanks for coming, appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
I come every year, it's awesome. We'll see you guys next year.
Absolutely.
My question is for everybody. What was it like working with the force of nature that is Jonathan Frakes?
Look, nobody watches this thing. Go ahead.
We won't tell anybody. We don't have the internet or anything.
All the cell phones have just come out.
I love to poke fun at Jonathan because he has just an extraordinary sense of humor and he can take it. To that point, I have found on YouTube, you can go look it up, somebody, I don't know, had gotten their hands on his screen test for Welcome Back, Kotter.
Oh my God.
Circa 1975, 76. And it is a rail-thin, very good-looking Jonathan Frakes with feathered hair and bell-bottom jeans, auditioning for I don't know what role because he had the worst Southern accent I've ever heard. I coordinated with our audio-visual people, our effects team that handled the screens. So the next time we had a command meeting in the ready room, I had them throw this thing. But they also said like special message coming in from Starfleet Command, and then I played the entire screen test. And I felt a little bad about it later because he came up to me and said, "That was so sweet what you did." I thought he was gonna be like, "Mama." But no, he's just such a sweet guy, incredible energy. He does not go to lunch because he meditates. He brings so much joy to the set, and he loves being on the sets. I mean, sometimes he can't get him off the friggin' set because he's an actor. But yeah, I love working with Jonathan, and can't wait for you to see the episode that he directed. We're very excited about it.
The total ray of sunshine, that man. Total ray of sunshine.
Yeah, his presence is incredible, and it actually made me want to go back and start watching a lot more TNG. So after working with him, I was like watching like every night TNG. It was great.
Thank you.
All right, did we have another pre-submitted question? No? All right, let's go to our next one.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you all for coming. I just wanted to know the episode that you did that was based off of a fairy tale. How was that putting on the different costumes instead of the uniforms?
It was a blast.
Yeah.
Like they wrote all those roles to make us be as opposite as possible from our regular characters, and it was just so much fun.
Yeah.
Mine was just, I just recycled a Polonius that I played in graduate school.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was very hot for me because I had to wear many layers and robes and long hair. And it was actually, I found it to be kind of difficult to let go of, my Spock mannerisms because I've been playing that role on set so long, and then to be there and be breaking outside of that felt totally wrong. And so it took me a few takes to adjust to it, but it was a total blast in the end.
Yeah. I was going to say that like the folks who work in costuming, like they were having such a, like it was just the best time for them, and they were having the best time, so it was really cool to kind of just jump on that train with them and be like, oh, what are we going to do? You know, like it was a really exciting challenge.
What was really amazing was to see the sets be totally turned into other worlds. They're like unrecognizable. They did such an incredible job.
Come on.
Yeah, that's
Remember trying to climb up the Jeffries tube?
Oh my God.
So there was a scene that ended up being cut, and I knew it was going to be cut. Remember when I was complaining about it the whole time we were shooting it? I was like, so
I have ropes to my toes, and I'm supposed to be climbing a ladder. And it's
and the staff, right? And somehow you're supposed to get up the freaking dress.
I thought I was going to break my teeth on the
He
ladder.
was so,
I was going to get my
he was
feet
so
caught.
angry. He was so mad about it. And I kept being like, I love that we're shooting this thing that's going to be cut later. Because this is taking 15 minutes for all four of us to get up the Jeffries tube for no reason. Like, really, there's going to be like a quarter of our episode is going to be us climbing the Jeffries tube to get to the next scene. Like,
Babs had to like go backwards and like throw clothing. It was very awkward for all of us.
I'm just wondering, since you're a prequel, if there will be like some scene where you're gonna find like Jeffries, the guy named Jeffries who's out, and there's just gonna be like a team of security people beating the snot out of it. Like, how? It's a spaceship, but you made it like a foot taller.
That's a great idea.
But that may end up going into crossover with Lower Decks. That feels more like Lower Decks. Are you preparing to increase the size of your eyeballs for the crossover? Like, is there eye exercise you do, like an anime sort of thing?
that would be
Really big context. All right, we got another question from the audience.
Hello,
Hi.
thank you guys for being here. I was lucky enough to go to Mission Chicago and saw the pre-release footage, and I'm happy the show's gonna have to be so great. I have a question for Jess.
Yeah.
Do you think that Nurse Chapel's hair is naturally that color, or does she dye into that her uniform?
Ooh. It's definitely not natural. That's a box dye for sure. Yeah.
Does it get done like they do in the Jetsons? Like, do you wake up and is it a machine?
Yeah, I just dunk. Just like walk through a tunnel. It has some curtains, like on the way to the sick bay. Just like brushes through my hair and does my roots for me.
I like that.
Styling tips from the future. All right, we have another question, Mike?
Once again, thank you for coming. This question is for Jess, but if Ethan wants to also put in his, it's fine. With your character, you've been shown with that your relationships are all very single or non-long-term lasting. But one of the original episodes, your character had a fiance that disappeared right before. Is there going to be any sort of mention of this, or maybe you can't tell us?
Well, I mean, it's written in stone that happens for me, you know, so it has to come up at some point. I think that we're just with Chapel at an earlier time of her life where she's not ready to settle down or has something standing in the way of that, personally. So yeah, I don't know, does that answer your question?
Just wondering if something sorry. Maybe something that season 2 or...
Oh, I can't, I'm not allowed to say, obviously. Yeah.
Definitely can't talk about that, but it'll be there. And it happens, right?
Yeah. Thank you. No worries.
Something to look forward to. Grab our next audience question.
Hi. My question's for all of you. What's the most memorable audition you ever went on, good or bad?
Most memorable audition you've been on, good or bad?
I did an audition for a KFC commercial maybe 10 years ago now, and in the audition room for TVCs, you have I had just stacks of white bread, just dry white bread that you can and I had to do it like, I had to like bite into it really sensually. So it was just me in front of a blue screen with 2 other people in the room watching me. They're like, can you just do it a little bit slower? And like, just like really enjoy that first bite. Just like white bread, like dry white bread. Yeah, maybe an interesting point in my life.
That is extremely specific stage direction, and that's all I want to say about that.
I booked the job.
I mean, I've had a lot of bad ones, and some good ones, I guess. But some memorable ones. I was of a smaller few to be considered for Captain America many years ago, which stands out. And also I came pretty close to the role of the Deep in The Boys. I don't know how to say this stuff, so don't tell me what I get.
Outside of this 1500 band.
Yes. And then I have like a recurring dream. This is the worst audition, where I am reading for Spielberg. It's happened a couple times, or someone of that caliber, and I'm at the callback, and I'm like ready to go. I've signed in, and I'm like one person away from being called in, and I'm like, I don't know my lines, and that's a true terror for me.
Well, I was shooting City by the Sea in New York, and when I had met the producers for Crossroads, and they, so I'm on the set up in Yonkers. We're at the police station in Yonkers, and my reps called and said, so, Britney Spears is leaving town at 5 o'clock. She wants to meet you. I'm like, okay, I'm working with Robert De Niro. Not sure what you want me to do. And they kept calling, and I finally just turned off my phone. Like, I gotta jump. So then I get the second AD comes up to me and says, hey, at lunch we got you, we're putting you into a larger trailer because you're gonna have guests for lunch. I was like, okay. So lunch happened, she comes up with her assistant, her bodyguard, Big Rob, and she's very shy, right? And we're talking. I was like, okay, I'll talk. And ended up talking more with her assistant. It was just lovely. And ended up somehow telling this funny story about how a friend had asked me to take a picture with his 16-year-old niece was a fan. And when the girl came over to have a picture taken with me, unbeknownst to the family, she put her hand on my posterior. And so the picture ended up coming out with her smiling and me being like, and I don't know if Britt wasn't listening or she didn't get it, but she kind of like really stopped talking. I was like, oh, shoot, okay, guess I'm not getting this job. I offended her or something, I don't know. And they left, and then so I go back up to shoot, to start shooting again, and I'm on the second floor, and for some reason I'm like the first person to arrive on set, and I'm just sort of thinking about the conversation that happened, and then suddenly two people lean up against the wall next to me. It's Robert De Niro and George DeZunza, and they're both going, so. Alright. You got a guest in the trailer? I was like, no, it was just a meeting. And they were like, oh, strike out. So, man, I got yeah, it's been living it down ever since.
All right, who's following that one with a question?
So this one is for Mr. Mount, though either of you could chime in if you wanted to. I was wondering how much do you, since you've got less material in the past to work with, how much do you reference Jeffrey Hunter oh gosh, Bruce Greenwood when you're trying to craft your Pike, and just how do you integrate the old material into your portrayal?
I don't. I do my homework, but this is a Pike in a completely different part of his life. And I think I talked about this yesterday. Pike, Jeffrey Hunter's Pike, and he did it beautifully. That's a much younger, a little bit self-centered, dour Pike. And the writers really wanted to leave that part of his life behind and move on to where it's a more established captain. And I'm a huge Bruce Greenwood fan, actually. Different universe, but what was the movie, The Post? It's The Post, and he played, was it Bob McNamara?
Oh, what happened here?
The former
What
Secretary of
happened?
Defense.
Fuck.
Just, he's a tremendous actor. I've always wanted to meet him. So yeah, sorry, no, not at all, but love those actors.
I mean, you're kind of the only person out, except for your characters you created for the show, like Omega and those sort. You're the only really person who came in with an established character. But Blanks. Oh, sorry. But a blank slate. Thank you. Voiced by my own plushy microphone. I mean, you've got the establishment, but Spock has Spock, right? You've got that range where you have this appearance, but you have the ability to grow that character out.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And which is a bit of a challenge when you're playing a character whose third act has been revealed already.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you turn that into an arc? Is a really interesting question that I've never. Thank God I wasn't the one I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
We have this young whippersnapper not many people have heard of called Keith Goldsman, who is tasked with those things, and Henry Miller is just an incredible writer in his own right, and funny as hell. So yeah, that's been really the joy, is getting to figure out the rest of Pike, and I hope to be able to take it back to the third act at some point.
Yeah, but Ethan, just you have the same challenge at a kind of different level. There's more material to draw from, but you can't break continuity at this point, right? You don't have the parallel universe to play with. So how do you work in kind of the same challenge?
I think my position is more similar to Anson's than Ethan's. Major's performance was probably a little bigger than what Anson had to work with, but there was also so much room to move, and so much that she was so limited in what she was given, as a character. And my understanding is that Major was pretty ticked off about that herself, and she wanted to do more. So I had the essence of a character to work with, and then Akiva and Henry have really trusted me to flesh that out, and they had some ideas, of course, but it was very much they just had suggestions and then left it in my hands to germinate those suggestions into a real living, curious being, which is such a gift. It's been great.
You've got, again, we talked about this I think a couple of years ago. You had the kind of wild spot to play in Discovery, and now you're kind of honing in on getting to, we saw that with the last episode, right? You played the Spock of the future. You had to kind of flash forward your character, get that more dialed in version without the growth in the show. So how did you arrive at that point maybe a little faster than the rest of the cast?
I have no idea. Maybe, the writers do so much for us. And I think as an actor, truthfully, from the beginning, I was trying to do my best Spock. And a dialogue really dictates a lot of your performance and the tone of it, and the situation can determine behavior and different characters you're interacting with. And so I think as I'm mature as an actor, it'll take me closer to Nimoy's spot that we see in the original series. That's kind of the best way I can answer that. Yeah.
All right, another one from the crowd, please.
Yeah, Anson, I found this to be the most asked question at DragonCon, and I feel compelled to ask, what hair product do you use?
Oh God, really?
I should start my own line.
I buy it.
Actually, personally, not much. That's why my hair is shorter. I hate dealing with my hair. The hair and makeup team, they, I don't even remember. I just know it involves a lot of hairspray. Several times a day.
Is there like a period where you have to know you have to grow out the material they need to work with? Like there's a point before shooting where it's T-minus pike, where you got
Oh yeah. It was the same with the beard, you know. You have to be mindful of how long it's going to take. And then you look like a shaggy dog when you go up to get ready in pre-production and make you look better.
All right, where are we at? Next question, please.
Hi, thanks for coming. My question is, have you guys taken anything off the set that you weren't supposed to?
Why does everyone keep asking that question? What the fuck?
I'm terrible at that. It never occurs to me to steal.
So you say that you love stealing. Verbatim, I love stealing.
No, I don't think, not yet. But I mean, I'll go through the proper channels when it's time.
Yeah, I haven't stolen anything. I've asked for them.
I have. Absolutely, and I'll never say what it is.
Would you still just tell me?
Well, they still have their job, so we have another season to look forward to. All right, our next question, please.
All right, good afternoon, and again, thank you for being here. One of the things that's made Strange New Worlds so amazing watching week after week is to see people model what decency looks like. Especially in a moment where it seems that the baseline has gotten a little hazy on that front. But what I love is that you do it in such a way that it doesn't seem heavy-handed or self-righteous. That it's genuine and visceral. And how does that inform your performance?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, I think a lot of that is credited to the writers. We're given such great material to work with on that front. And I think, I don't know, I just feel really deeply honored to be able to lend my artistic energies to bring those words to life. It encourages us to be better people. It encourages us to tap into the best parts of ourselves. And yeah, I feel really privileged as an artist to contribute to that in a time like this especially. Thank you.
Yeah, I think one has to have integrity to be a part of Starfleet.
Amen.
And I think that's why we're all here, because we all aspire to that, to treat each other with respect and with dignity, to be accepting and warm and welcoming and pull ourselves into the future. And as an actor, I couldn't be more proud to be representing that. It's really a dream to be doing what I love and to be having what I hope is a positive impact on the people that see it.
All of that, and it's not that difficult to do when you like the people you work with.
All right, we have another question lined up.
This question is inspired by Pike, but directed to all of you. I love Pike's big dad energy on the show. So, you have a favorite dad joke, and what is it?
I really should start collecting them, shouldn't I? Because I have a 9-month-old daughter and I'm going to need them. So. Okay, so there's a cop, traffic cop, sees a guy driving a little funny. He's driving big, like 76 Plymouth Malibu, like boating car. And he decides, I'm going to pull him over, see what's going on with the guy. Pulls him over and he says, pop the trunk. The guy pops the trunk. Cop goes back there, opens up the trunk, and there's 6 penguins in the trunk of the car. And he says to the guy, he says, what are you doing? I want you to take these penguins to the zoo immediately. The guy says, yes, officer. He lets him go. But the next day, same cop sees the same guy driving the same car, and he's like, I'm gonna stop this guy, see what he did about those penguins. Pulls him over, says, pop the trunk. Guy pops the trunk. Cop goes back there. The guy's still got the 6 penguins in the trunk of his car, but now they're all wearing sunglasses. He says, what are you doing? I thought I told you to take these penguins to the zoo. The guy says, I did. Today we're going to the beach. I love it. I can't even tell you why that joke's funny.
Don't look at me. I put all my jokes in the Dragon Hunt TV stuff. They've been documented on the internet.
I've got one. I don't know if it's a dad joke, I just really like it. What's brown and sticky? Yeah, some of you already know. A stick.
I don't have it.
Yeah, let's not send this as a dad joke to the next generation. Let's go quickly to the next question.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
My question is mostly for Anson, but obviously y'all feel free to chime in. Anson, I know you started your career on the stage. Is there a particular role that you've always wanted to play that you haven't gotten to yet?
Yeah. I mean, it was, everybody, at some point in their life it wants to do Hamlet. I'm not so much, it's a bear of a play. There are some roles that are behind me now. I'm too old for some of the ones that I wanted to work on. I think it would be a really good time for me to play Astrolf in Uncle Vanya. That would be, if I had one choice, it might be that, or no, actually, there's a Jack at the End play called The Changeling by Thomas Middleton, and the role of DeFlores in there is, sorry, theater nerd in there for a second.
Oh no, theater nerd's dragging on.
I think you would make an amazing Macduff, just saying.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I never thought about that. I played Malcolm one time.
I played Malcolm too.
Compare notes later.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, oh no. Anson, be careful. Our next question is coming from the Scarlet Witch.
So, I grew up on what people would consider nerdy content like Star Wars and Harry Potter, but I never had my family introduce me to Star Trek. So for people who are older or younger, who've never seen Star Trek, as people who are inheriting these roles, how would you describe Star Trek and how would you say, get into Star Trek? If you've never seen it before, this is a great area of media to get into.
Well, my mother introduced me to it, and she said, I said, what's it about? She said, it's about a bunch of people that they live on a spaceship and they go around the galaxy to different planets, finding all the different alien cultures that live there. And I said, that sounds like a terrible idea. So I don't know.
watch your show.
Join us.
I think Gene Roddenberry had trouble with that elevator pitch, right? Because the pilot didn't get picked up, you know? So it's definitely a difficult question to answer.
Yeah. I think we're starting almost the modern question that people have now with Star Wars. It's like if you were to show Star Wars to your kids, for instance. Whereas I hear Uncle.
We're about to run out of space on our phone. We're going to be shutting down.
Give them the sequential order of timeline, or do you give the order of release? And yeah, it's an internet forum conversation. It's about to break out here. Keep it on Discord. But you know, since you are the prequel, you know, you're going farther back in the timeline. Do you say, well, from a timeline standpoint, start here, or do you go back to kind of like the inspirations like that you have done it to research your roles? Or is it just drop in at your favorite point and let nerdom happen?
I think it could be really any point.
I don't see anybody
Maybe the
else.
more accurate question is, what is your favorite thing about Star Trek
Well,
that would convince you to watch it?
Okay, so look, it's like anybody who's ever looked up
She
at a
might be
starry
the last
sky,
one.
like an incredibly starry sky, where you can pick out the Milky Way and wonder what's up there.
they
And
may
also marveled at the fact that our species can say, hey, we're going to take several $1 trillion and we're going to build a rocket and strap it to somebody's butt and we're going to shoot them up there so we can just see what's around, and everybody goes, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's do that. That's what we need to be investing in. It's so strange when you step back and look at it, but there is something about us that needs to reach out, that needs to turn around from the campfire light where the stories are traditionally told in our tribe and walk out into the darkness to see what's out there, and then return to another story or create a story out of what you found out there. Star Trek taps into that theme in us perfectly, I think.
I'm glad she let you use your mouth this time. It turned out a lot better. All right, let's take our next question.
Hi. So I think with this recent reboot, or with a lot of the recent Trek reboots, there's been a shift to a lot of sort of high stakes, high drama, serialized content. And I think yours was kind of a back to the original style where there are
What the hell?
kind of for entertainment value. So my question for you all is, which do you enjoy shooting more? Do you enjoy sort of the higher stakes dramatic episodes, or do you enjoy kind of the fun body swap type episodes?
So you're basically asking if they like hijinks.
Exactly.
I love hijinks. I mean, I think I love the fact that we get to switch between them all. I think that's, for a performer, it's a dream. You know, it's like the buffet of work. Like 1 week you're doing horror, 2 weeks later you're doing drama, 2 weeks later you're doing comedy. It's like a boot camp and a playground. It's awesome.
I myself prefer hijinks. It's especially fun for me because Spock is who he is. And when they throw him into crazy, wild situations and scenarios where the audience is kind of like, oh no, what's he gonna do or what's gonna happen? Those become really amazing acting challenges for me and experiences for me. So I prefer those, I think.
Yeah, I'm similar to Jess in that I really like changing it up and being thrown off every episode and almost having to figure out how to do the show each episode is, I love that. It keeps it interesting, certainly. But I also, what I do like about our show is I think we have a very, from the writers to the directors to the actors to the entire crew, I think we have a collective, very good sense of you can't be too deliberate with this stuff. You know, you gotta know when to play the front foot and you gotta know when to play the back foot. And I think we've been having a
a lot of fun shifting it to the back foot every now and then.
Thank you. And this is going to be our last question.
All right.
I know.
All right, so I'm Gabe Pye. I got a question that's kind of interesting. So there's a lot of aliens.
Yeah,
in
you
Star
got
Trek
2 minutes.
Very fleshed out over time, and they've evolved all of them, given a lot of unique aspects to them. So I want to know, what are each of your favorite species, non-human, that you find interesting, and why?
Have to think.
You got 2 minutes to think.
Favorite non-human species in Shrek.
Oh God.
Ethan's
I don't know about like I was really hoping for, and I think I may have pushed a little bit for an Andorian character, right? And I think I would really also like to have at some point an equally deep, interesting Tellarite character, just because that's been underserved a bit, I think.
I thought you were going to say Vulcan.
Well, I mean that's.
Should I not ask this question?
You know, it's like what's who's best quarterback other than Tom Brady?
Let's go.
Saved it. I mean, just from what we've done on set, I feel like it's been so exciting to explore the god in a modern day sense, and the way that they've brought that species to life in such a terrifying way. It's been really cool to watch. So much pressure on the art department to make that what they did.
We're about to shut off.